Hey guys! Today I'm going to do the second book review on my channel. It's a paranormal book review again, and it's for this book right here. It's called There's Something Under the Bed. It's children's experiences with the paranormal. It's by Ursula Bielski, and now I'll just tell you a little bit about the author, at least what I know about her. She's a pretty well-known paranormal researcher. Now, she especially does research and a lot of books about the Chicago area, so if you live around there, it'd be really good for you to get some books by her about that area. Now, let me just show you the cover again, because I just think it's adorable how there's like a little girl sitting there and she's all like scared because there's something under her bed. And I'm sure we've all had moments like that in our life when we're a child and you just don't want to go to sleep because you're scared to death of what's in your room or what you think is in your closet or what you think is under your bed. And she touches base a little bit on whether or not those feelings that you had as a child were, you know, in your head, or maybe they were real. If you've been doing a little research on the paranormal, you probably know that consensus says that especially when you're a young child, you pretty much are born with the gift of, you know, second sight, so to speak. And you lose it as you go along in your life and your parents tell you, you know, there's no such thing as ghosts or what have you. So she touches base on that in this book a little bit. The book was published in 2010, so it's a fairly new book. It's about 223 pages long, give or take. It contains chapters on all kinds of phenomenon that has to do with children and the paranormal. Not just, you know, children's ability to see ghosts, children's ability to have ESP, children's ability to see, you know, religious figures and get some sort of glimpses of the future from those religious figures, which is probably one of my favorite chapters in that book because I really haven't researched much into that kind of phenomenon, but I was pretty much blown away by the things I've read in that chapter in this book. Other chapters in the book that I found really enjoyable were the chapters about haunted toys and the games that you play as a child that you might not realize are connected to paranormal phenomenon, but really are, such as Bloody Mary and the infamous Ouija board, and she touches base on that in this book. Haunted toys, haunted dolls, the infamous Robert the Doll stories in this book. It's just, I quite enjoyed it, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you are like seasoned in paranormal research, meaning that you have had a lot of experience reading a lot of paranormal books, you might have a hard time getting going in this book. It might bore you a little bit in the beginning, only because you already know a lot about children's experiences with the paranormal, such as what I said in the beginning of the review. Like, you're born with second sight and your parents kind of influence it away. So that's maybe the only gripe I had with the book, was that I kind of felt like a lot of what she was saying in the book I kind of already knew from, you know, previous books I read or TV shows that I've seen. One of the chapters in the book kind of, you know, hit close to home for me. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but in my one of my very first videos that I've ever did on YouTube, it was like a get to know me video, I told you guys that my son is autistic. Now, he has something called Asperger's syndrome, which is a higher spectrum form of autism. He is functional, he can speak, he's extremely intelligent, he goes to school in a regular school system, so it's not that he doesn't speak like some autistic children don't, but he does have autism and he shows the signs of autism. And there is a chapter in the book about autistic children and the paranormal. I'm gonna have to say it was interesting to read that, but it was very, I'm trying to think of the right word to say here without insulting the way it was written. It kind of didn't really catch my interest too much because it headed in one direction and then without warning it headed in the other direction, and then without warning it headed in the other direction. So it was kind of really just a whole bunch of stuff thrown together in one chapter, and it was very hard to understand. So to recap, I'll just tell you my initial reaction to the book was that it is geared towards people who have very little knowledge of the paranormal, and especially with the way it ties in with children's experiences. So if you're a person who is just getting into the paranormal, if you're a person who hasn't read very many books on the paranormal, hasn't seen many paranormal shows beyond like Ghost Hunters or, you know, Paranormal State, and you want to, you know, research more into the paranormal, I definitely say pick this book up and, you know, find out a little more on children's experiences with the paranormal. However, if you are somebody who has been researching the paranormal and reading paranormal books for a while, I'll say that I have been reading paranormal books probably for a good 16 years, since I was a teenager. You might find some of the stories in here you already have knowledge about, but I can't blame Ursula Bielski for doing that, because, you know, she states the best stories about certain things, such as the animal communication, the you know, poltergeist, or what have you. So I can't really blame her for doing that, but you might find yourself, you know, reading stories that you already know about, and you might say, hey, you know, I wanted to learn something new here. But you gotta understand, of course she's going to use the best kind of examples for what she's writing about in this book. Overall, I did learn a few things that I didn't know. As I said, the religious miracle type of chapter, which was the children seeing the you know, apparitions of the Mother Mary, usually it was the Mother Mary or an angel, really caught my attention, because although I heard those stories, I've never really researched into them, so I learned a little bit more about that. And I think my overall favorite chapter in the book was probably the reincarnation chapter, because I'll tell you, the stories of reincarnation, especially with young children, are pretty amazing. Like, my husband is really into reincarnation, as I am really into like the afterlife, and I believe you just go on to a different realm. But it made me think, maybe we do become reincarnated, because it was pretty neat. And thank you so much for watching, and please comment, rate, and subscribe. And if you are already subscribed, I appreciate all your support. And if you have a suggested paranormal video for me to do, you want to hear my thoughts or feelings about something, let me know. That's my husband coming home. You can hear his music. Thank you so much. Bye.